A quiet rebellion is spreading across the globe, completely invisible to the algorithms designed to track our every waking move. Young people are abandoning their $1,000 smartphones. They are hunting down old cassette players and buying basic flip phones with tactile plastic buttons. They are voluntarily and methodically erasing themselves from the digital map of the world. This is not a fleeting trend of retro aesthetics. They are building bunkers. They are constructing impenetrable fortresses for their minds.
They already know what you will think about tomorrow. You haven't even opened your eyes, but the servers in the cold rooms are already calculating your morning anxiety. They know exactly how many seconds you will stare at the ceiling before reaching for the glowing glass rectangle.
While you scroll your endless feed, consuming the curated lives of strangers, artificial intelligence on the other side of the planet has already placed you on a list of potential threats. The system tracks internet activity and deeply personal media choices, predicting future behavior with terrifying accuracy. The digital utopia has revealed its true face as a psychological slaughterhouse. Imagine this scene. It is 3 in the morning. You are lying in bed. The only light source is the cold glare of the black mirror in your hand. You watch someone you do not know buy a luxury car or travel to an exotic island. Your brain genuinely believes you are participating in life. It fires off primordial chemicals, simulating achievement and human warmth.
Content type identified, aspirational lifestyle, dwell time 4.8 seconds, micro expression of envy recorded, dopamine levels plummeting, cortisol rising. We have successfully recorded your sadness. Thank you for the data. Your pain is highly profitable.
But when the screen goes dark and the cold glass reflects your own tired face, you are left in a silent, suffocating room. You are overwhelmed with the crushing sensation that your own core self has simply evaporated. You feel physically exhausted, even though you haven't moved a single muscle. The phantom weight of 1,000 fabricated lives is crushing your chest. Listen carefully. This is not your weakness. This is not a lack of willpower. You have simply been surgically dissected. Supercomputers are working around the clock against your biological brain to keep you in a state of permanent digital paralysis. You consume the fabricated lives of others, while your own breathing life slowly drains onto the servers of multinational corporations.
Why do you let them drink your time? It tastes so bitter. Are you terrified of the silence? If the noise stops, who will tell you that you still exist?
We are all afraid, because the modern system is meticulously designed to make silence feel like physical death. This invisible mechanism of control is called algorithmic predictive profiling. Imagine the Panopticon, a perfect 18th century prison where the guard in the central tower can see everyone. But the prisoners can never see the guard. Because of this constant uncertainty, the prisoners eventually start to police themselves. The Western world has built the exact same prison and called it the recommendation feed. Your beautiful smartphone is a velvet interrogation room. It tracks the gyroscope in your hand to see if you are shaking. It analyzes the micro delays of your gaze to map out your deepest insecurities, feeds you artificial ideals, and ruthlessly erases your unique human identity.
Prone to impulsive purchases after 11 p.m. Experiences high-grade anxiety when viewing former classmates. Emotional baseline, chronic fatigue. Subject is isolated. Subject is ready for maximum monetization.
You become a mathematically solved equation, but there is one fundamental flaw in their grand design. Exactly what the gloomiest German thinker understood over 2 centuries ago. Arthur Schopenhauer knew nothing of the internet, but he flawlessly described the psychological engine destroying us today. He called it the will. The will is a blind, insatiable energy that forces us to constantly desire and relentlessly consume, never reaching satisfaction. Schopenhauer declared that life swings like a pendulum between pain and boredom.
If you desire nothing, you're bored. The pendulum stops. You open the app. If you desire what you see on the screen, you feel pain because you do not have it. You open the app again to numb the pain. Swing. Swing. Swing.
The algorithms actively create the deficit within you. Artificial intelligence weaponizes your Jungian shadow, your hidden fears and unhealed pain. Shadow therapy asks you to bravely face your darkest parts to become whole. Social media hacks your shadow, places it on a digital stage, and forces it to dance for cheap hits of dopamine. Schopenhauer gave us the only key to this prison: radical asceticism. The absolute refusal to play by its rigged rules, to step off the pendulum entirely. But what happens when the prisoners voluntarily hold on to their chains?
You placed your own finger on the biometric scanner. You blindly accepted all the cookies. You traded your entire soul for convenience. They didn't even have to force you. You begged them to take it.
We cheerfully carry the intimate reports of our daily lives to a digital Big Brother. Why? Because we are chasing an illusory reward. You watch a fast-paced video and genuinely feel like you are evolving. That is a mask. In reality, you are hiding from a brutal world where you must face the terrifying void of true existential emptiness without a distraction. The smartphone is a high-tech painkiller. You grit the lock of your own digital cage from the inside because you are terrified of being left alone with your own mind. If the notifications stop, your true shadow will step out of the darkness and ask, "Who are you without this relentless noise?" Think about the last time you sat in a public space. A coffee shop, a train car, a crowded street. Look around at the bowed heads, the illuminated faces, the curved spines. We have willingly entered a mass, synchronized trance. We are physically present, breathing the exact same air, but cognitively, we are scattered across millions of isolated, artificial realities. This is not a human connection. This is a highly coordinated, algorithmic isolation. We are slowly, permanently losing the basic biological capacity to simply exist in a room without a digital pacifier. When you reach for that glass screen during a 3-second lull in a real conversation, you are not saving yourself from boredom. You are actively murdering your own capacity for deep thought. You are burning down the exact quiet space where true creativity, where actual self-reflection is born. The system knows a terrifying truth. A human being left completely alone in silence is a dangerous thing. A human in silence begins to question the fundamental structure of their reality. They begin to run their hands along the invisible walls of the Panopticon. So, the machine floods the zone. It provides an endless, paralyzing stream of micro-emergencies. A notification, a breaking news alert, a brightly colored badge demanding your immediate emotional reaction. It keeps your nervous system locked in a state of perpetual low-grade fight or flight. You are fighting a war of attrition you don't even realize you are in. And your only ammunition is your own finite lifespan. But a silent rebellion has begun. The new generation instinctively senses this trap. They are actively switching to dumb flip phones and old cassette players. This is the activation of the analog shield protocol.
This heavy, ugly plastic box with the physical buttons? It doesn't know my resting heart rate. It doesn't track my GPS coordinates when I cry in the park. It is completely deaf and beautifully stupid.
An old MP3 player just plays the audio file. It doesn't analyze at which exact second of the song your breathing changed. A basic keypad phone from 2005 just makes phone calls. It creates a hard physical boundary between your fragile psyche and the Panopticon. Your greatest weakness is your absolute predictability. Your greatest weapon is to become a dark void, a blind spot for the algorithms. Turn off your smart device for an entire weekend. Walk out of your door with analog technology. Turn your digital shadow into a chaotic, unpredictable labyrinth where the machine breaks its teeth. No artificial intelligence in the universe is capable of predicting a conscious act of human will that actively chooses quiet, analog chaos over digital comfort.
I am no longer breaking apart into tracked pixels. I am walking out of the cold server room. I am coming back to you. The pendulum has finally stopped. We are whole again.
Close your eyes. Remember your second arrow, that specific action you do on autopilot just to avoid sitting in terrifying silence. Write in the comments below, how many hours of screen time did the algorithm steal from you this past week? And ask yourself the hardest question. How many of those hours did you actually live? When you finally put down your black mirror, the physical world rushes back to you. It returns with its unpredictable sounds, cold winds, and true, unfiltered meanings. You reclaim your sovereignty. You become the absolute author of your own life once again. But if we can escape the microscopic algorithms humming in our pockets, what do we do with the massive artificial intelligences already engineering an entirely new physical reality around us? We will forcefully kick open those doors next time.